Lions, Clayton Kershaw taking the hill today, Steve, and there really doesn't appear to be close to the ceiling. A lot of guys have number ones. How close is he to being a true ace as we get to the Hyundai key to the game?
Quickly emerging as one of the best in all of baseball. And when you look at what he does on the mound, good pitchers have the ability to get you to swing at bad pitches. Not only, can he get you to swing and stuff in the dirt like the breaking ball right there to get ahead of you. Then he blows you away upstairs if he wants to. It's very frustrating. And then he just paints the corner when he has to throw a strike and then gets you to go out of the zone again. It's funny because exactly what you were talking about. Our producer, Brad Zager, had a conversation with Derek Lowe, of all people, who made an excellent point. He said, you know what? Every team has to have a number one, the guy you run out there as your best pitcher. But not every team has an ace. And an ace is a guy like Halliday or Lincecum or Sabathia. And now, Kershaw is now quickly becoming that guy who could be the ace, a number one of anybody's staff. That's what makes you an ace in baseball. Well,
it's been a long time. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but like over 20 years since a Dodger pitcher has won 20 games. And put my money on Clayton Kershaw.
He's going to need a little help, a little run support in order to do that. I hope he gets that tonight.
Tough lineup that he faces with Holiday and Pujols. We have the game. First pitch coming up. Vin's got the call.
More out of a new car. Don't just go to an event. Join the movement at your local area Hyundai dealer. Buy Shakey's, win a pizza party for 10. Go to Shakey's.com. By CarMax. Now more than ever, the smart choice is CarMax. And by AT&T. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Saturday night to you, wherever you may be. It's the Dodgers and the Cardinals, one of the great rivalries. In fact, so great that when this series began, each team had beaten the other 998 times since 1900. And, of course, with the Cardinals winning the first two games, they now have the edge 1,000 to 1998. Over those long years, there were also 16 ties. Here's the way a rampaging Cardinal club looks like tonight. Ryan Theriot opens up at short. Colby Rasmus in center field. Albert Pujols at first. And Matt Holliday in left. David Freese at third base. Alan Craig in right field. Gerald Laird behind the plate. Tyler Green at second base, and Kyle McClellan on the mound. On the mound for the Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw with a record of 2-1. It is interesting as Kershaw goes to the mound tonight, the thought that 3 years ago in May, he made his major league debut here at Dodger Stadium against St. Louis. Over the 6 innings that he pitched, he allowed just 2 runs. His earned run average of 1.3 ranks 4th in the National League. With 24 strikeouts, he now has 500 in his career. That makes him the 4th youngest to have more than 500, behind only Dwight Gooden at 20, Felix Hernandez at 22, Fernando at 22. Clayton, 23 years old, celebrated a birthday on the 19th of March. So for Clayton Kershaw, he's got a big job, and that's to stop the bleeding and stop Pujols and Holiday in particular. And just to give you an idea, Pujols is hitting 500 against him, Holiday 357. But we start with the former Dodger, Ryan Theriot. In his career in the big leagues, which goes back to 2005, Theriot really had only one poor year offensively, and wouldn't you know, that was the year with the Dodgers when he hit just 242. Right now he's hitting 298. He can play. 1 ball and no strikes to Ryan from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Koufax in for a strike, and the count 1-1. For Theriot, hitting a solid 371 on the Cardinal road trip. The Cardinals are really fully awake now. The 1-1 pitch, a broken bat, a dribbler up along first to Loney, who steps on the bag, and that's the out. So Theriot loses his bat as it breaks 1 down. Let's take a look at the Dodgers defensively, who have to do more than pick up a bat. Gwynn, Kemp, and Ethier in the outfield. Blake, Uribe, Miles, and Loney on the infield. Behind the plate, Rod Barajas handling Clayton Kershaw. Here's the thing about the Cardinals. They were in the doldrums, and suddenly in the last 5 games, and certainly Colby Rasmus, who checks in at the plate, is one of the leaders. He lifts one into left center and shallow. Out goes Uribe. In making a diving catch is Tony Gwynn, sliding on his left side and taking a possible hit away from Rasmus. Fine play by Tony. And with 2 out, Albert Pujols will be coming up. Uribe went way out, and then the nice catch by Gwynn. In the last 5 games, including 3 against Arizona, the Cardinals have 13 home runs, 51 runs scored. Lance Berkman, who's not playing tonight, has a half a dozen home runs and 12 RBIs. So here is Albert, and he takes off the plate, ball 1. Pujols hitting 241 with 4 home runs, 10 runs batted in. Big story in St. Louis, the fact he can go free agent. He takes low, ball 2. Albert, 6 for 12 against Kershaw, no home runs. A lot of people feel that his eyes are set at least on Ryan Howard's contract. Here's the 2-0 pitch on the way. Albert swings, fouls it away. There are a lot of big contracts of late. $151 million signed by Troy Tulowitzki. $154 million signed yesterday by Adrian Gonzalez. But Ryan Howard gets $25 million a year for 5 years. 2-1 pitch, Pujols takes high. So the feeling is that Pujols at least won 25, and for more than 5 years. Talking a lot of money. 3-1 the count to Albert. Kershaw ready and comes back. Fastball fouled away. Of course, all that talk is strictly conjecture. It has nothing to do with what Albert really feels, what he wants. For Tony La Russa, of course, Pujols, the main man in the lineup. And Tony signed just for this year, but he has such a tremendous record, it takes your breath away. 3-2 pitch to Pujols. Swung on and missed, and down he goes. And that's a man who has never struck out 100 times, and the curveball puts him away. And at the end of half an inning, no score. The Cardinals, he had to make 6 to get Albert Pujols. Here's the Dodger lineup. Tony Gwynn in left, Casey Blake at third. Then you have Ethier, Kemp, and Uribe at short. Loney hits back of Uribe. Rod Barajas, Aaron Miles, and Clayton Kershaw. On the mound, Kyle McClellan, big boy at 6'4". He's out of Florissant, Missouri. He'll be 27 in June, and his first pitch in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Out of Hazelwood High School, he passed on a scholarship to the University of Missouri to sign with the Cardinals, and his strike one pitch inside, 1 ball and 1 strike to Tony Gwynn. McClellan's father, Terry, owns an expansive 15,000 square foot training facility as Gwynn takes low, 2-1. It's called the Field House Baseball and Softball Training Center. There are 9 batting cages, all kinds of stuff. 2-1 pitch pulled into right field. Base hit for Tony Gwynn. So Gwynn makes a dazzling catch of the ball hit by Rasmus and then singles. We'll take a look at the birds out there on the limb. In the outfield, Holiday, Rasmus, and Craig in right. The infield of Freese, Terrio, Green, and Pujols. And the battery tonight, Gerald Laird handling Kyle McClellan. So Yadier Molina had 4 hits last night. Sits down and rests today as Casey Blake chimes in. McClellan delivers, and the first one in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Casey hitting .304, 2 RBIs. A long look at Tim Wallach. Tony Gwynn inching off the bag. The Cardinals are not a running team. The Dodgers, as I'm sure you know, do a lot of running. Throw to first and Gwynn diving back. To really point it up, Matt Kemp has 7 stolen bases. That's as many stolen bases as the entire Cardinal team. Meanwhile, Gwynn off the bag, he has stolen 3 out of 4. A look by McClellan, and the pitch is fouled back to the screen. 0-2 the count to Casey Blake. We were talking about Kyle's dad and that baseball and softball facility, and often in the offseason he would instruct and coach high school players. In fact, Kyle said, I made more money during the offseason than I did my first 2 years as a pro. When he was pitching in Class A, he made $8,000. McClellan ready. The strike 2 pitch. There goes Gwynn. Is high and hits Blake. And just like that, the Dodgers have runners at first and second. Blake is nailed on the hand or wrist as he goes to first base. And he is still hurting and seems to be rubbing that wrist. So Blake goes down to first. Apparently he assures Davey Lopes that he is all right. So the Dodgers first and second, nobody out. And now Ethier and Kemp coming up. Blake appears to be okay, checking the wrist. Ethier with a 12-game hitting streak, batting .358 with a home run and 7 runs batted in. They both, Kemp and Ethier, have been the Dodger attack so far this year, and Andre fouls it off. The entire Dodger team, with runners in scoring position, hitting just .178. But Ethier and Kemp just a little under .500 together. So this is the offense, at least for the moment. Ethier waiting. McClellan set and deals, and the pitch a little high. 1 ball and 1 strike. In looking at McClellan's work against the Dodgers, we haven't seen much of him because Kyle, for quite a while in his career, was a reliever. Blake was 0 for 3. Ethier 0 for 2. Kemp 0 for 4. The 1-1 pitch, low and inside. Ball 2. 2-1 the count. So McClellan, one of the 3 of the 4 starting pitchers to have Tommy John surgery. Kyle Loesch, who pitched last night, the only one did not go under the knife. 2-1 pitch to Andre Ethier. Check swing. They're going to look at third. No swing, says Chad Fairchild. 3-1 the count to Andre. Basically, the book on McClellan, A sinking two-seam fastball that's been clocked as high as 94. Curveball, slider, and a fair changeup. Left-hand hitters hit only .204 last year. Ethier hits a high drive but playable in left center. On his horse is Rasmus to pick it off. Gwynn tags and moves over to third. Holding at first is Blake. And the Dodgers now first and third, one out, and Matt Kemp coming up. So Ethier advances a man, and Kemp with one out trying to pick him up. For McClellan, a couple of things about Kyle as they have a little meeting out on the mound. Last year, Kyle as a reliever had 19 holds and usually worked about three in the third innings whenever they used him. Left-hand hitters hit only .216 against him. So we'll see what he does with Matt Kemp. Kemp checks in with one out, first inning, no score. Out of a stretch goes Kyle McClellan. And the right-hander delivers, breaking ball in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Right-hand batters last year hit only .214 against McClellan with 7 home runs. Kyle had the Tommy John surgery in 2005. Strike one pitch coming up to Matt. Another breaking ball, a half swing, no swing, says Angel Hernandez. And a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Big sweeping curveball. So Matt checks out, hitting .449. He has Tony Gwynn at third. And he has Casey Blake at first, one away. First inning, no score. McClellan ready, and the 1-1 pitch on the way. Kyle deals, breaking ball, up and in, swung on and missed. And the count 1-2. With first and third, you look at Kemp. He is 7 for 13 with runners in scoring position. Uribe is 2 for 14, and Loney 2 for 19, and they hit back of him. Another breaking ball fouled away. So at least up to now, it's not about to give him a fastball. 1-2 the count. Matt Kemp, quite an athlete. All you have to do is see him play once to understand. Outstanding basketball player in high school, and he was coveted by the University of Oklahoma. You might notice if you're watching on TV, Matt has a couple of tattoos. One of them is his mom's name, Judy, that's on his wrist. And there's one with his little brother's name, Tyler, who unfortunately passed away at a young age. So Matt waiting, 1-2. Out of a stretch goes McClellan. Right-handed delivers it, swung on and foul back. Though he's still there, 1-2. That was a fastball down. No score, first inning. The Cardinals trying to extend a 3-game winning streak, and the Dodgers trying to end a 4-game losing streak. The Dodgers are playing their 8th game in a stretch that sees them play 20 games in 20 days. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. Fastball lifted to center. Coming up for it is Kobe Rasmus. Shallow throw to the plate, so Gwynn has nowhere to go. So Kemp can't pick him up with a little fly ball. And with 2 down, the batter will be Juan Uribe.
For the Dodgers, shortstop number 5, Juan Uribe.
So Uribe trying to get a base hit against McClellan and get the Dodgers on the scoreboard. Uribe 0 for 1 in the past against McClellan. Tomorrow afternoon, Chris Carpenter, who also had Tommy John surgery, will go up against Chad Billingsley. Uribe hitting 156. Fastball is swung on and missed, 0-1. Uribe hitting just 156, no home runs, and 3 runs batted in. He was 1 for 4 last night. Strike one pitch, swung on, foul back, so he's in a hole now, 0-2. In the first game of the series, Uribe had a walk and a double, but wound up being out at the plate. Cardinals scoring 9 times in the first game and 11 times last night. Strike 2 pitch to Uribe is pulled foul down the left field line, and the count stays 0-2. So Kyle McClellan in a starting role battling the Dodgers. First inning, no score. Uribe back up and waiting. Down the line from third, Tony Gwynn. Away from first, Casey Blake. And the strike 2 pitch to Uribe. Fastball away, up and outside just to show it to him. He hit 92 on the gun. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Kyle, 6'4", 205-pounder. Been with the Cardinals for 3 years. Right-hander ready, and this 1-2 pitch coming up, and it's a breaking ball swung on and missed. Down goes Uribe, and the Dodgers again leave runners in scoring position. No runs, a hit, 2 left, and at the end of an inning, no score. As Kyle McClellan sits in the dugout, Yadier Molina, the #1 catcher, chatted with him for a while. He worked hard. He made 23 pitches. So now it's Holiday, Freese, and Craig in that order against Kershaw. Fastball foul back, and the count 0-1. Fastball at 93. Matt Holliday absolutely flat out wears out the Dodgers. He's hitting .357 against Kershaw. 5 for 14. Strike 1 pitch on the way. Holliday takes inside under the hands. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Matt, with an athlete's face, he was a great high school quarterback. The 1-1 pitch on the way. Matt swings, doesn't get it, and the count 1-2. Holliday, of course, had some of his great years with Colorado. He won the batting title in 07 with Colorado. The 1-2 pitch to Matt, swung on, hit to the gap and deep. Ethier moving over just about to the track and picks it off. So Holliday hits it hard, but to Ethier, and we have one away in the second inning. That'll bring up David Freese. Freese, the regular third baseman, back in the lineup for game 2. David, right-hand batter, hitting .372. Freese can catch if pressed into service. Pitch in for a strike, 0-1. David, .372 with 2 home runs, 6 runs batted in. Strike 1 pitch, breaking ball misses, and a 1 ball, 1 strike count. In a game where all 3 Cardinal catchers had been used, David Freese put on the gear and went behind the plate. The 1-1 pitch, David backs off. It's inside, ball 2. So Clayton Kershaw is from Dallas, Texas. Freese is from Corpus Christi. Clayton turns, ready, and his 2-1 pitch on the way. Fastball down and away, ball 3. Freese, good size, 6'2", 220. Came up to the Cardinals in 09, then went back down, and then came up last year. Hit a solid 296. Right-hand batter has a look, and that's ball 4. So with 1 out, Freese goes to first, and the batter will be Alan Craig. You know, the most affordable ticket package at Dodger Stadium is back for all Wednesday and Sunday home games. With the Coca-Cola Value Pack, fans can enjoy 4 tickets, 4 Dodger dogs, and 4 Cokes, starting at $20 per seat. For more information, go to Dodgers.com/specials or call 866-DODGERS. So here's Craig hitting 250, playing right field. Fastball just outside and low, ball 1. Lance Berkman normally plays right field, but with a left-hander going, Berkman sits down. Although Berkman is considered a switch hitter, he's 0 for 7 batting right-handed. He sits alongside. Throw to first, not in time, but Freese almost picked off. Alan Craig, a local boy. He was born in Mission Viejo. He lives in Temecula, went to the University of California, Berkeley, and was signed by the Cardinals 5 years ago. So Craig waiting. Kershaw looks at first, back he comes, and that's a little high, ball 2. When the Cardinals first drafted Alan Craig, they felt he was a bit overweight, and they challenged him to shed a few pounds before the 2007 spring training. So he's now down to about 210. At first base, David Freese, 1 out, and the next pitch is low. So Kershaw, fighting it a little, as falling behind 3-0. Gerald Laird, the catcher, is on deck. So Alan Craig waiting, Kershaw ready, comes back, and this one is in there at the knees, 3-1. One of the things Craig did before spring training, took a lot of batting practice at batting cages near his home. He said it probably cost him $300 to take some batting practice. They charged him $15 for every 10 minutes. 3-1 pitch is instead a throw to first, and Freese back on the bag. Chris Carpenter, who has never lost to the Dodgers, he is 6-0. He'll be on the mound tomorrow against Chad Billingsley, wearing his cap, draped over the ceiling, talking to Ryan Theriot. Meanwhile, Billingsley up against the screen watching, and there's a line drive base hit to left field. Freese will stop at second. So Alan Craig, who probably has friends and relatives here, singles in his first at bat, and the hitter will be Gerald Laird. Which reminds me, we told you that Clayton Kershaw has made his major league debut against the Cardinals here, and it was against a local boy leading off for St. Louis, Skip Schumacher, who's from Torrance and Laguna Niguel, and Kershaw struck Skip out. First and second, 1 out, and here's Gerald Laird, right-hand hitting catcher, hitting .214, playing him to give Molina a well-deserved rest. And the first pitch to Laird, slow breaking ball in for a strike, 0-1. Gerald Laird does something that I've never heard of anybody else doing. He is a catcher, and when he throws the ball, he doesn't use his index and middle finger on the seam or otherwise. He throws with 3 fingers. The next pitch is a hard ground ball into right field. Base hit. Freezes to third, and they will hold him. Ethier one-hops Barajas. So the bases are loaded for Tyler Green. Just to get back to Laird for a moment, instead of throwing with 2 fingers, he uses the index, the middle, and the ring finger with the thumb underneath. And when you ask him about it, He said, I don't have to search for the seam, and he is very, very quick in getting the ball down to second. Maybe not quite in Molina's class, but he is a strength back there. And so here's Tyler Green, basically an infielder who finished up in left field last night for Matt Holliday. And Green hitting .333. Out of his stretch goes Kershaw. The fastball is low and inside. 1 ball and no strikes. So Green getting a chance to play for Schumacher at second base. Tyler, right-hand batter. Kershaw slows things down. Tyler Green is from Plantation, Florida, and he was a #1 pick by the Cardinals 6 years ago. So Kershaw in some trouble here with 1 out. The 1-0 pitch, Green takes low, ball 2. So in the inning, Holliday a long out to the gap in right center. Freeze walk. Craig single to left. Laird single to right to load him up. And here is Green, 2 balls and no strikes. Tyler Green, right-hand hitter. Kershaw's fastball fouled away. When Green was out of high school, he committed to Georgia Tech and passed up the Braves, who picked him in the 2nd round. He was a high school All-American and All-State in Florida, and a member of the National Honor Society, and went to Georgia Tech and had a big year as a freshman. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Tyler. Kershaw deals, and it's on the inside corner with a fastball, and the count 2-2. So Clayton trying to fight his way out of it. Having to work here in the 2nd inning. Now the 2-2 pitch coming up. Kershaw with the bases loaded, and it is swung on and missed, strike 3. Tyler Green strikes out, a big out, 2nd strikeout for Kershaw. And as you probably remember, Kershaw donates $100 to the building of an orphanage in Zambia with every strikeout. That is his 26th strikeout this year. So 2 out. Here's McClellan, the pitcher, right-hand batter. Kershaw right down the middle for a strike. In contrast, where the Dodgers as a team with runners in scoring position are hitting .227, the Cardinals, runners in scoring position, are hitting .407. So Kershaw has a tiger by the tail here. The strike 1 pitch is punched foul off to the right of the plate, and the count 0-2. So the Cardinals have been tearing up pitchers the last 5 games, and Kershaw trying to bring them to a halt. 0-2. For Kershaw, laboring. He made only 10 pitches in the 1st inning. He's made 24 so far here in the 2nd. Now the strike 2 pitch coming up. Breaking ball off the plate. 1-2. Kershaw, in his last couple of outings, last game against the Giants, he made 117 pitches in 6 1/3 innings. Here's the 1-2 pitch coming up. Curveball stayed up. Ball 2. Big rainbow hook, but too high at 79. He started against the Giants on the end of March, made 96 pitches. Against Colorado, 89. And then that workhorse game last time against the Giants. 2-2, and the pitch fouled away. So McClellan giving it a battle. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, bases loaded. Freeze at 3rd, Craig at 2nd, Laird at 1st. No score, 2nd inning. Clayton a long look into Barajas, looks over at 3rd. Now goes to that long stretch of his, and his 2-2 pitch, fastball, line foul. So McClellan is getting pieces of the ball. And in looking at Kyle, he's had 5 at bats this year, and he has 2 hits, 2 runs batted in, and he has a double. So he's a pretty good hitting pitcher. And this is going to be the 7th pitch to him with the bases loaded. McClellan backs out when Kershaw backed off the rubber. So the battle continues now. They hook up. Clayton out of a stretch, and here he comes 2-2. Fastball hit foul off the edge of the protective railing of the Cardinal dugout. So for Kershaw, he's having trouble putting a man away. He struck out Pujols in the first inning, struck out Green here in the second, but McClellan keeps getting a piece of it as it goes by, making Kershaw work now, and that'll pay off later in the game. 2-2 the count. The fastball fouled away again. You remember when we were in San Francisco, if you were watching or listening the game, we were counting the fact that in the first 2 innings, Tim Lincecum had 16 foul balls. He was having a lot of trouble putting a hitter away. And Kershaw's having a lot of trouble from a surprising opponent, a pitcher. 2-2 pitch. Clayton deals. Fastball got him looking. So McClellan frozen on that pitch that hit the inside corner. 3rd strikeout for Kershaw, and at the end of an inning and a half, no score. Today and trade up to Ford. And by Jack in the Box. Right now, get the All-American Jack Combo with fries and a drink for only $4.99 plus tax. Bottom of the 2nd inning, no score in the ball game. James Loney, Rod Barajas, and Aaron Miles. A very difficult 2nd inning for Clayton Kershaw. He not only made 30 pitches, the opposing pitcher had a 9-pitch at bat by fouling off 5, and that'll have a payoff later on. So into the bottom of the 2nd, and it's Loney, Barajas, and Miles against Kyle McClellan. Loney swings at the first pitch, drives it to dead center. Rasmus backing up, turns, makes the catch. And just like that, Rasmus out there has 3 putouts, and we have 1 down. In Colorado, the Cubs are leading the Rockies 8-1 in the bottom of the 7th inning. And the pitcher is Casey Coleman. Turns out, upon inspection, Casey is a 3rd-generation big leaguer. He's the starter. His dad, Joe Coleman, pitched for Detroit, among other teams. His grandfather, also named Joe, played for the Philadelphia Athletics. And the story goes on. about Casey Coleman. Here now is Rod Barajas, and takes a fastball up, ball one, 1-0. For the Rockies, remember, they'd won 7 straight, 4 out of 5 at home, 7 out of 8 on the road, and they're at home. The 1-0 pitch on the way, that's in there. 1-1 the count. Joe West, the plate umpire. Angel Hernandez, Paul Schreiber, and Chad Fairchild on the line. The 1-1 pitch, Barajas fouls that back. Rod hitting 190, 3 home runs, 4 runs batted in. He's only played 36 games for the Dodgers, and he has 8 home runs over that stretch. 1-2 pitch is hit into center, base hit for Barajas. So Gwynn led off the first inning with a single. Now Barajas with 1 out, a single to center in the second. Dodgers already frustrated. They left runners at first and third in the first inning. So Albert Pujols holding the corner on Barajas. And here's Aaron Miles to face Kyle McClellan. Miles 1-for-1 in the past against the right-hander. Takes a strike. And the count 0-1. No runs, 2 hits, no errors for either side. However, the Cardinals leaving the bases loaded in the second inning. Dodgers left 2 in the first inning. Miles fouls it back, and the count 0-2. Last year, the Cardinals won 4 of 7 from the Dodgers. Dodgers won all 3 here, and the Cardinals won all 4 in St. Louis. So now the Cardinals have won the first 2 here this year. 0-2. Ground ball to the right side, the quick feed, the turn, the throw, and we have a double play. 4-6-3. That erases Barajas. And at the end of 2, Kyle McClellan walks off. No score. Kyle McClellan, 3rd game of the 4-game series. It'll be Chris Carpenter and Chad Billingsley tomorrow afternoon at 1. And then the Atlanta Braves will be coming in for a 4-game series starting Monday night. Ryan Theriot grounded out to James Loney, had his bat disintegrate in the first inning. So Theriot 0-for-1. Kershaw looks down the barrel to get a sign. Left-hander ready. Here he comes. Fastball up and in. Ball one. 1-0 to Theriot. Rather musical last name. Out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And the 1-0 pitch to Ryan is fouled away. Off to the right, out of play. 1-1. Theriot hitting .293. He's hit as high in the National League as .328 briefly with the Cubs. Also hit .307 in a full year with the Cubs. 1-1. Kershaw ready. Here he comes. Breaking ball and inside. Theriot ran up as if to bunt. Didn't move the bat. 2-1 the count. LSU had a great double play combination, and they wound up in the Cubs together. Ryan Theriot and Mike Fontenot. The 2-1 pitch on the way, very high with a fastball. Theriot now plays for the Cardinals, and of course Mike Fontenot plays for the Giants. Fontenot hitting a home run to right field at AT&T Park to beat the Dodgers the other night. 3-1 pitch fouled away. 3-2. And of course, with Theriot and Fontenot, LSU were the national champions. I love the story about how Ryan met his wife. She would have nothing to do with him when he was introduced to her at a picnic. 3 months later, they started to date a little bit. But when you ask Ryan, why didn't she have anything to do with you? He said, well, I had a shaved head. I was about 30 pounds heavier. I had earrings in both ears. So she didn't really have much of a good impression. But he's a good-looking young man now. 3-2 the count. Kershaw ready. Clayton comes right back. Fastball, line drive, base hit to left, despite an all-out effort by Juan Uribe. So Theriot, slim down line single to left, and the batter will be Colby Rasmus, who going into this game, Colby was 5 for 10 in the series. He has an 8-game hitting streak, and he was robbed of a hit. Tony Gwynn making that sliding catch of his fly ball in shallow left back in the first inning. Colby, a good looking hitter and taking advantage of hitting in front of Pujols. Kershaw goes over to first base. Theriot back on the bag. Theriot 2 for 2 in stolen bases. Rasmus hitting a very solid .390. Out of a stretch goes Kershaw. Looks over at first, and the pitch to Colby is up, ball one, 1-0. Rasmus' father was a 10th round pick. He's now a coach in high school in Alabama. He has a younger brother, Corey, who was a top pick for the Braves a couple of years ago. 1 ball and no strikes. Here comes Kershaw, and he's high with the fastball. He's making a lot of pitches, 10 in the first inning, but 30 in the second inning. So he's now up there at 49 pitches, much to the concern of Rick Honeycutt. Coming off a game, remember, where he made 117. 2-0 pitch on the way. Rasmus hangs in there and fouls it back. Kershaw hitting .93 with that fastball. Rasmus, a Georgia boy out of Columbus, now lives in Alabama. Left-hand hitter. He's 6'2", 195. Kershaw's fastball is low and away. So Clayton is behind 3-1. Rasmus taps home plate with the bat. Now pinwheels it around. Kershaw looks down at him. He looks over at Theriot, and the 3-1 pitch to Colby is swung on and foul back. 3-2. They won moving Theriot on a 3-1 pitch. We'll see if they run him 3-2. And looking at Rasmus' numbers, you know he's hitting .390. He has struck out 11 times, but he's also walked 8 times. 3-2 the count. Kershaw set, looks at Theriot and decides to go over there. Well, we were talking earlier about Kershaw with McClellan, where McClellan, the opposing pitcher, fouled off 5, and Kershaw now is having the same problem that Lincecum had the other night at AT&T Park. 3-2, Theriot does not go, and the ball is sliced down the left field line, foul and out of play. So far, Cardinal hitters have swung and missed 4 times. That pitch that was fouled off by Colby Rasmus, that is the 15th foul ball so far that Kershaw's given up, and Albert Pujols in a crouch on deck. Well, Theriot was not going 3-2. We'll see if he does on the same count this time. Kershaw looks and goes over there. It could very well be that with Pujols on deck, Tony La Russa would just as soon keep Theriot at first, not run him out if Rasmus should strike out. Colby, as a left-hand hitter, has grounded into 1 double play. Kershaw out of a stretch. Theriot takes a look at him and goes back to the bag again. So in Kershaw's mind, Theriot might very well be going. Tony La Russa, what an incredible lifetime he has had in the big leagues. It's amazing. 8 division titles, 2 pennants, 10 World Championships. And Tony, of course, has been blessed with very good health as Rasmus fouled one off. He is second in all-time games managed. 4,949 games. He passed McGraw. Games managed. 3-2. Well, Theriot hasn't gone yet on the count. He's not going now, and the pitch is low, and so Kershaw now is in some serious trouble. First and second, nobody out. Pujols and Holiday coming up back to back. For Kershaw, he's allowed 3 hits. He has walked 2. Foul balls are killing him. And here's Pujols, who went 3-2 in the first inning before striking out. Pujols coming in, hitting .500 against Kershaw. Clayton delivers fastball in there for a strike. 0-1. So Theriot at second, Rasmus at first. Nobody out. We're in the top of the 3rd inning. Clayton looks in, getting a sign. He's made 56 pitches now, and he's only in the 3rd. Breaking ball in there for a strike. Big curveball at about 80 miles an hour. So Pujols with an 0-2 count, and Albert backs out for the moment. The amazing Pujols. You could spend some time talking about what he has done. 0-2. Kershaw deals another big curve that stayed up, ball 1. For Albert Pujols, off to such a slow start, there was great concern in St. Louis, but he's starting to make a move. But in his first 49 at-bats this year, he hit into 7 double plays. A lot of ground balls. Here's the 1-2 pitch, another breaking ball foul back. When Pujols came here, all we had read about was how he was hitting too many ground balls, nothing in the air. And his first 2 at-bats against Hiroki Kuroda, he had ground balls. Then he had a home run. Then he had a fly ball to center. And then in the second game last night, he had 2 fly balls and 2 home runs. So he is getting the ball in the air, and that makes even more trouble. The 1-2 pitch is swung on and missed. So Pujols strikes out a second time against Clayton Kershaw, and that means the big man has struck out only 7 times this year. I mean, when he strikes out, that's news. and back-to-back at-bats, he goes down swinging. That is the 4th strikeout for Kershaw, but it's only the first out in the 3rd inning. Now Matt Holliday, who fly deep to right center. A nice catch by Andre Ethier. Kershaw deals low and inside with a curveball, ball 1. Big Matt Holliday out of Oklahoma. And boy, the weather has certainly beaten up Oklahoma, but it has not had a favorite. It's just tearing up so many states in the Southwest, the South, and now in the Northeast. 1-0 pitch on the way, and Holliday backs off and takes a strike. 1-1 to Matt. Theriot at second, Rasmus at first, 1 out. Now the 1-1 pitch, Holliday takes high and away. 2-1 the count. Kershaw really laboring. He's now made 63 pitches. Of course, the 30 pitches in the 2nd inning was enough to take some air out of the tire. Now the 2-1 pitch to Matt Holliday. Clayton's fastball fouled away into the seats down the right field line, and the count 2-2. Holliday had an appendectomy performed on April the 1st, and he was back in the lineup on April the 10th, scoring a run. He was a batting champion for the Rockies 4 years ago. He's hit as many as 36 home runs in Colorado, and he hit 28 for the Cardinals last year. He was late on a fastball and hit a bullet into the seats down the right field line. So Matt, a little concerned for the welfare of the spectators, and Joe West will consume a little bit of time and go out to Kershaw, and Rod Barajas will accompany him. I do believe this is just to make sure everything is okay in the stands. And for Matt Holliday, obviously distressed over that line drive, not that he had anything to do about controlling it. A lot of baseball in the Holliday family. His dad played at the University of Miami and played in the first College World Series. His brother Josh played in the Blue Jays organization and is now the hitting coach at Georgia Tech. He has an uncle who's a scout for the Rockies, and his grandfather once signed with the Yankees but gave up his career in World War II. In fact, his grandfather played in the service and was a catcher, and among the pitchers he caught in the service was Whitey Ford. Of course, the great Yankee wound up in the Hall of Fame. So Holliday backs out. Joe West helped to consume a little time. Hopefully everything is okay now. First and second, 1 out. Matt up there, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Kershaw hides the ball back of his left hip. Now out of a stretch, he looks at Theriot and comes back to Holliday with a breaking ball foul back. 2 balls and 2 strikes they count to Matt Holliday, with David Freese on deck. Matt at 6'4", 235 pounds, a very impressive looking athlete, trying to move Theriot and Rasmus. And the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball grounded foul outside at third. So there you have it again. Those foul balls against Clayton Kershaw. He's now had 20 foul balls. And that's a sure tip off. He's really not right on his game. 2-2 to Holliday. Again, Clayton ready. Looks at the runners, back with a fastball fouled away. 21 foul balls. Those 21 foul balls now get his pitch count up to 67. And of course the Dodgers hoping that he would give a little piece to the bullpen. Last night, Jansen, Hawksworth, Guerrier, and Cormier all pitched. Fastball is low, though he's gone 3-2. In the Kuroda game, McDougal, Cormier, and Broxton pitched. 1 out, 3-2 the count. Matt Holliday, a couple of numbers. He has struck out 9 times. He has not grounded into a double play. And the 3-2 pitch, the runners do not go, and the breaking ball is inside, ball 4. So for Clayton Kershaw, the way he is going, he's not going to be around too long, even though there's no score, and Honeycutt's going out to talk to him.
Third baseman number 23, David Freese.
The other note about Kershaw, he's gone to more 3-ball counts than he has gotten swings and misses. He's had 6 3-ball counts, and the Cardinals have only had 5 swings and misses. There have now been 21 Cardinal foul balls. So they each take a toll. 69 pitches now made by Clayton. And with the bases loaded for the second time, the batter will be David Freese. So Kershaw got out of that bases loaded jam in the second inning, and sometimes when you do get out of a jam, you expend so much energy to do it, it then has some ill effects the following inning. For Freese, no grand slams. Kershaw ready out of a stretch and deals, and the pitch in for a strike, 0-1. Every time I see the name Freese, I think of one story involving Tommy Lasorda. There were 2 pros, Gene Freese and his brother George Freese. Here's the strike 1 pitch to David. Kershaw set, ready, and deals, swung on, fouled away. They were playing winter ball. I think it was in Cuba, Venezuela, somewhere. Gene Freese was hitting against Lasorda. George Freese was playing center field for Lasorda's team. And Tommy, annoyed over whatever the situation was, promptly hit Gene Freese. So Gene charged the mound, and Tommy and Gene Freese are fighting, and suddenly somebody hits Tommy in the back of the head. It's George Freese, Tommy's teammate, protecting his brother. And every time I see this fellow's name, I think of that. I wonder if Lasorda does as well. 0-2 the count. The pitch to Freese, fouled away again. So Kershaw having a lot of trouble with foul balls, up around 23 now. Bases loaded, 1 out. He has Holliday at first, Rasmus at second, Terrio at third. His pitch count is 72. And the strike 2 pitch on the way. Freese looks, it's off the plate. Ball 1. Top of the third, no score. No runs, 3 hits for the Cardinals. No runs, 2 hits for the Dodgers. Kershaw has walked 3, striking out 4. And the 1-2 pitch, fastball, you got it, fouled away. So it's still 1-2 the count. 74 pitches made by Clayton Kershaw. What's really hard when you realize his last game, he made 117. Out of a stretch and then thinks better of it, straddles the rubber, now plants the left foot. And Freese waiting at the plate, 1-2. Kershaw, high set at the letters, back with a breaking ball in the dirt. Nice save by Barajas. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count. To the last 6 batters, to give you an idea, and this is the 5th batter in the 3rd inning, including McClellan, who made the last out in the 2nd. Kershaw has made 44 pitches to only 6 batters. And the 2-2 pitch, fastball, foul back. Still 2-2. So David Freese out of Corpus Christi, battling the young fella out of Dallas. Freese will be 28 on the 28th. 2-2 pitch. David fouls it away. That time, with 2 strikes, he was worrying about that pitch being on the outside corner, so he had a lunge at it and just did foul it off. 77 pitches now made by Kershaw. He's 23, but even so, that's a lot of pitches. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Clayton delivers curveball lifted to right field. Tagging up is Terrio. Ethier pretty deep. He's going to throw the ball in towards the infield off the glove alone. He's scoring easily as Terrio. And the Cardinals finally break through and lead 1-0. So a scoring fly ball for David Freese.
Right fielder, number 21, Alan Craig.
And Alan Craig will be coming up. That's something, huh? 47 pitches to the last 6 batters. Now Craig, who singled to left field in the 2nd inning. Right-hand batter. 2 on, 2 out, 1-0 St. Louis. Allen waiting at a Mission Viejo and takes a breaking ball in for a strike, and the count 0-1. 2 years ago, Alan Craig was the Cardinals minor league player of the year. He only hit .208 last year against left-hand pitching, but he singled tonight. This time it's a fly ball to right. Right there is Ethier waiting, squeezes it with both hands, and that's the inning. A long inning. The Cardinals finally flutter their way to a run. Kershaw made 40 pitches, 1-0 St. Louis. For major concern for the Dodgers is Clayton Kershaw's runaway pitch count. He takes a look at ball 1. He has made 80 pitches in 3 innings. Well, at that rate, he would not make it to the 6th inning. And the 1-0 pitch in there. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kyle McClellan, big guy on the mound for St. Louis, and Kershaw hits it right at the shortstop, Ryan Terrio. And we have 1 out here in the 3rd inning. You know, you can be a part of the Dodger Ticket family. Pick the games that work best for you. Choose 14 games from the remaining schedule, including any from the best Dodger promotional schedule ever. Save up to 33% off the box office price. Visit Dodgers.com/mini-plans or call 323-224-1365. One away, Tony Gwynn checking in, single to right field in the first inning, got as far as third and stayed there. McClellan delivers a bunt right out in front of the plate, and he's nailed halfway down the line. So Gwynn trying to bunt his way aboard. Gerald Laird throws him out.
Baseman, number 23, Casey Blake.
2 down, and Casey Blake coming up. I wish we had some kind of a remarkable camera close-up so that I could verify what I've been told about Gerald Laird, how he throws the ball with 4 fingers involved, not 3. It's a strike to Blake, who was hit by a pitch in the first inning. Casey batting .304, 2 runs batted in. 1-0 St. Louis. McClellan back with a pitch in there. So quickly, McClellan out in front, 0-2. Kyle comes right back, 0-2, and that's in the dirt, blocked by Laird. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The 1-2 pitch on the way. Inside, almost got Casey on the hands again. 2-2. There's the grip we're talking about if you're watching on television, a 3-fingered grip of the ball. I don't know of anybody else who does that, except maybe a pitcher throwing a changeup, and thank you guys for that great close-up. Meanwhile, Blake strikes out, and we have 3 innings in the book. Just 1 finger for the Cardinals, leading 1-0. Baja style fish tacos with classic Baja or spicy avocado sauce. Only at El Pollo Loco. By Corona. And by Time Warner Cable. 4th inning, 1-0 Cardinals. Laird, Green, and McClellan in that order against Clayton Kershaw. A bunt sharply right to Loney. 1 away. Well, that certainly gives Kershaw a break. To give you an idea, in the 2 previous innings, Kershaw made 70 pitches, 7-0. McClellan made 17. So with 1 away, here's Tyler Green. Struck out in the 2nd inning. Tyler, 3 RBIs to go with his .300 batting average. Takes a strike. Tyler Green last year was on the DL with a bruised right hand. He'd been playing with the hand since the middle of July, and then during an at-bat he was hit on the hand. So he was out for about 3 weeks. 1-2. Tells you he is a scrapper for sure. Out of Plantation, Florida, and a rambling wreck from Georgia Tech. Down he goes. So Kershaw gets a couple of quick outs here in the 4th inning. He needs those desperately. He also has 5 strikeouts. And now here's Kyle McClellan, the pitcher, who really summed up what's been going on so far. He had a 9-pitch at bat. He hit 5 foul balls before he struck out in the 2nd inning. Ball 1. And he falls behind 2-0. McClellan, pretty good hitting pitcher, obviously. And ball 3. Kershaw with 5 strikeouts and 3 walks. Mattingly sweating him out. And ball 4. He walked him on 4 pitches. 4th walk given up by Clayton. 1-0 St. Louis. Dodgers driving the manager to drink. At least water. Ryan Theriot grounded to first, single to left, and came around to score the run on Free's fly ball to right field.
Cardinals shortstop.
Barajas coming back behind the plate. Ryan hitting .305. Grounded out, single to left, scored the run. Cardinals lead 1-0. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 4th, Ethier, Kemp, and Uribe. Good fastball, 0-1. He's still throwing at 93. 90 pitches now. Remember, 117 his last game. Could not get out of the 8th inning. 0-1. In the dirt. Saved by Barajas. He lost sight of the ball. Holding at first, Kyle McClellan. On deck, Colby Rasmus. Theriot, when he had that base hit in the 3rd inning, extended his modest streak to 8. 1-1. Two and 1. So to complicate matters, a lot of foul balls and a lot of pitches missing the strike zone. 92 pitches later, he has 2 out in the 4th inning. 2-1. Fastball in there. I remember one game at Wrigley Field, Chicago. Dodger left-hander by the name of Preacher Rowe, Elwin Preacher Rowe, out of Arkansas. I think he made 79 pitches in 9 innings. Pretty sure. Ball 3. I don't think I've seen a game with fewer pitches by a pitcher than Rowe's 79. 3-2 to Theriot. And the 3-0 pitch is whacked into left center field. That ball is going to be high off the wall. They are sending McClellan in. The relay is going to be late down to 3rd, and now in the rundown is Theriot, and he is going to be tagged out by Aaron Miles. The run is in the bank, however, on a ball that almost went out. So Tony La Russa lets his shortstop swing 3-0, and it gives the Birds a run. They lead the Dodgers 2-0. Seats and no blackout dates. And by 20th Century Fox's new movie, Rio, a movie that'll bring the world to its feet. Now playing in theaters. Cardinals lead 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the fourth inning. If you're keeping score on that double hit by Ryan Theriot, remember the throw went from Tony Gwynn all the way to the shortstop Uribe. Uribe then fired to the plate too late. Theriot just missed hitting it out. It hit the padding on top of the wall. Anyway, if you're keeping score, 7-6, then the throw too late, then 2, then down to 5, and the throw will go to Miles, and the tag by 4. 7-6-2-5-4. Kershaw, more importantly, has now made 95 pitches, and he's down 2-0, bottom of the fourth inning. So there has to be great concern in the Dodger dugout. Ethier, Kemp, and Uribe trying to do something against the right-hander Kyle McClellan. Ethier with a 12-game hitting streak, the longest streak he has had in the big league, 16. 0 for 1. Ball 1. Jose Reyes of the Mets has a 12-game hitting streak. By the way, he is eating up right-handers. Ethier hitting .469 after right-hand pitching. Well, he's going to get another base hit. In fact, over to cut it off is Craig. And Andre holds on after a big turn. So Ethier keeps his string alive with a leadoff single. Alan Craig did a good job to get it back in. And Ethier is now hit safely in 13 straight. Another sweet swing, arms extended. One hand coming off the bat, the old Charlie Lau theory to make sure you come all the way through. Dodgers with 3 hits, nothing to show for it. And here's Matt Kemp. Fly to center in the first inning. And a strike. Matt, pretty much of a quiet man, but he has a pretty good singing voice. He has a sister, I believe, who's a professional singer. And he promptly whacks it into left field. So the Dodgers come alive with back-to-back singles from the two fellas who have been swinging the bat very well anyway. That has not been the Dodger problem, getting Kemp and Ethier on base. But what happens after that thereby hangs the tale. Just to be correct on Matt, it's his aunt, Nikki, who's the professional singer. So 2 on, nobody out. Here's Uribe, struck out in the first inning. And he lifts one to right center. It's over Rasmus' head, but he goes back to the track and makes the catch. Ethier tags up and gets to third. So Uribe a long out to center. Advancing Ethier. Kemp had to hold at first. And the batter will be James Loney. Good play by Rasmus to go get it. So first and third, and of course with Kemp standing at first, we bring up that note we gave you earlier. Matt Kemp has as many stolen bases by himself than the entire Cardinal team. 7. Matt has stolen 7 out of 8. The only time he's been caught was trying to steal third up at AT&T Park in San Francisco. Loney flied to center in the second inning. A look and a fake. James 0 for 1, hitting 167 with a home run and 5 runs batted in. You know, Loney had back-to-back years where he had 90 RBIs in 08 and 09. I mean, he can do it. Last year, he had 88. So almost 270. It boils down to 260 RBIs in the last 3 years. So up to a slow start with 5 so far this year in 15 games. 1-0. We have to keep an eye on Kemp. You can bet it's 2-0 Cardinals. Matt represents the tying run. One ball, no strikes. Another look and a fake. We can tell you the Cubs beat the Rockies 8-3. That snaps Colorado's 7-game winning streak. 1 ball and no strikes. First and third, 1 out in the fourth. 2-0 Cardinals. Check swing. Off speed, no swing. 2-0 to James. Hitting back of him, Rod Barajas. Loney a long look. Tim Wallach. 2-0. Fouled away. McClellan, in his career, that would not count tonight, but in his career, left-hand hitters have hit only .216 against him. First and third, 1 out, 2-0 Cardinals, 4th inning. Tomorrow afternoon, Chris Carpenter, who is 6-0 against the Dodgers in his career, against Chad Billingsley. 2-1. There goes Kemp, and the pitch fouled away. Interesting, when he fell behind 2-0, McClellan got a strike to make the count 2-1. Kershaw has had 8 3-ball counts. McClellan, none. McClellan has made 49 pitches. 49. Kershaw has made 95. 2-2. Off the rubber. Timeout. Pujols, Green, Terrio, Freese on the infield with Laird behind the plate. Little ground ball to Pujols on the bag for one. Throws to the plate. And avoiding the tag and scoring is Ethier. It looked like they had him dead to rights, and a great slide away by Ethier to avoid the tag by Gerald Laird. And the Dodgers really steal a run. And the Cardinal lead is 2-1. You don't talk about a great slide or anything most of the time. Pujols got one. Then he goes after Ethier, who just fades away. And Laird never got a tag on him. Great bit of base running and sliding by Andre Ethier. Made sure that left arm was away and then touched the bag, actually the plate. So now Kemp the tying run at second, and it's a strike to Rod Barajas. So Loney is out on the ground ball. Kemp goes to second, and Ethier comes home. 0-1. And Kemp to third, and the pitch inside the throw. He has stolen it. Boy, he is fun to watch. He can do so many things. So Matt Kemp may be sent back. Let's see. Yep, because the pitch hit Barajas. So Matt Kemp has to go back to second, and Barajas nicked by the pitch and goes to first. He turned, and it looked from up here like he avoided it. It must have just brushed his sleeve. And Joe West said, ball's dead, go to first. So Kemp has to go back, 2 on, 2 out. And Aaron Miles. 2 runs, 4 hits for the Cardinals, 1 run, 4 hits for the Dodgers. That's a strike. Xavier Paul comes out on deck. I think they feel they've been pushing Clayton Kershaw. 117 last time and 95 tonight. There's no one throwing yet in the Dodger bullpen, so we'll just have to wait and see. 0-1. Foul back, so Miles in a jam now. 0-2. Aaron Miles played for the Cardinals in 06, 07, and 08, and then for a spot last year. Mike McDougal is first man up in the Dodger bullpen. 2-1 Cardinals, 4th inning. And ground ball backhanded by Pujols. Lobs it to McClellan in time for the out. But the Dodgers get one on a couple of base hits. A great play by Andre Ethier. And it's 2-1 St. Louis. smartphone with quick deposit. Take a step forward and chase what matters. And by Universal Studios, the entertainment capital of L.A. We move to the 5th inning, 2-1 in favor of St. Louis, and Clayton Kershaw, due to bat first in the 5th inning, goes to the mound. 0-1 the count to Colby Rasmus. He has an 8-game hitting streak. Lost a base hit on a diving, sliding catch by Tony Gwynn. Walked last inning. Came into this game 5 for his last 10. 0-1. 0-2. Rasmus last night had 3 doubles. No balls, 2 strikes. He has 2 home runs, 5 runs batted in. 1-2. Clayton getting ready to make his 99th pitch. Breaking ball popped up. Barajas in foul ground. 1 away here in the 5th. And coming up, Albert Pujols. Pujols tonight has struck out twice, but last night was another story. We'll put the freeze cam on him. In the 5th inning last night, he hit one into the pavilion, and in the 7th inning, he got a high fastball and hit it over the center field fence. Albert with 4 home runs, 10 runs batted in, and it is shocking to think that he has struck out twice. Takes a strike. The highest he has ever struck out, 93, and that was his first year. I mean, here's a fellow who hits 37 home runs and struck out 54 times. One year he had 49 home runs and he struck out 50 times. I mean, these are Joe DiMaggio numbers. Albert Pujols, 0-1. And he probably hits that to left. Gwynn on the dead run, but he's going to have to play it on a hop. So Albert with a long single. That was the 100th pitch made by Clayton Kershaw. Dave McKay over to talk to Albert. And Matt Holliday coming up. Kershaw has allowed 2 runs and 5 hits. Bullpen up again. So far, this being the 5th inning of the 3rd game, so that's 18-5. In 23 innings in this series, the Cardinals have been retired in order only 4 times. So here's Holliday, flied to right center and walked. Mike McDougald, who was up when the Dodgers were hitting in the 4th, is up now when the Cardinals are at bat in the 5th. So one way or another, it doesn't look like Clayton will go more than 5 tonight. And ball 1. Pujols with that base hit, 1 for 3 tonight. So Albert against Clayton Kershaw is 7 for 15, just under 500. Holliday 0 for 1. He's 5 for 10 coming into the game. Fouled away. 1-1. Blood, sweat, and tears. That might have been Winston Churchill. 103 pitches later, Kershaw can understand. 1-1. Fastball, but low. Combination of missing the strike zone and all the foul balls. Yet, he is such a battler, constantly in trouble. 104 pitches, and he's down 2-1. And that's low, ball 3. So another 3-ball count for Clayton Kershaw. That's at least 7. And he walked him, and a poor follow through. So that had to be a sign of being really tired. He was pushing himself on that pitch, trying to get something extra, and wound up kind of sideways. 5 walks, 5 strikeouts. I'm not sure if they sent Barajas out to the mound or not. And the batter, David Freese, walked and had a scoring fly ball. Mattingly and Honeycutt were talking. Neither man makes a move. They'd like to get Kershaw through the inning, and then they can bat for him. 106 pitches later, it's 2-1 St. Louis. Curveball lifted to left field. Gwynn is there. Tony gets it back in a hurry. Runners hold with 2 out, and the batter will be Alan Craig. So Pujols at second, Holiday at first. 107 pitches, and you get the feeling that if he gets one more out, he's out of the inning and out of the game. Craig hitting .267, playing right field. Tomorrow, Lance Berkman will be playing right field against Chad Billingsley, as Lance refers to himself as the Big Puma. By the way, the Puma is just 2 for 15 against Billingsley. 0-1. Looked like an off-speed pitch, only 76 miles an hour, and the count 1-1. Pujols and Holiday, big birds out there. Fastball missed. 2-1. Normally when he's on his game, that's the kind of a pitch he makes to put the hitter in a hole. Instead, it's the other way around. Now let's see 2-1. He's had 9 3-ball counts, and he's retired just 1 of those 9 batters. 5 walks, 2 singles, and a double. So big pitch, 2-1. Curveball lifted high into left field. Gwynn going back at the track, at the wall. It is gone. So a big home run by Alan Craig. That breaks it open. 1 too many pitches tonight. 111 pitches. And Craig hits the curveball just over the left field wall. And of course, for Alan Craig, I'm sure he has his own cheering section here. And this game has to mean a lot for him. As we said, he's from Mission Viejo, lives in Temecula, and just got it over. So it is 5-1 St. Louis, and that'll do it. Mattingly coming out. Holiday and Pujols being driven in by Craig. Laird will be the batter, and the Dodgers will make a couple of changes. Jamie Carroll comes out on the field. Aaron Miles come out. So it looks like Carroll would bat 9th, and the pitcher would go into Miles' spot. We'll be back. long. Clayton Kershaw was in trouble, but he got 2 out in the 4th inning, obviously tiring in the 5th. And with 2 on and 2 out, he gives up the curveball that's hit for a 3-run home run, and he has to come out as Mike McDougal picks up. For Clayton Kershaw, remember, he made 117 pitches in his last game against the Giants, and he comes back and makes 111 tonight. That's an awful lot for even a phenomenal 23-year-old. So here is Laird, the catcher, hitting .250. He has singled to right and grounded out. Whoops. Ball 1. Gerald Laird hits the dirt as McDougal tries to come in and restore order. McDougal has been with a lot of teams, even the Cardinals last year. Fastball, foul back out of play. 1-1. 5 runs, 6 hits, and no errors for the Cardinals. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. Cardinals scored a run in the 3rd, a run in the 4th. Dodgers got 1 back in the 4th. Another foul ball. Mike McDougal, 6'3", 190, born in Las Vegas, lives in Marco Island, Florida, went to school at Wake Forest. Originally a 1st-round pick by the Royals in 1999. And down goes Laird. That's the 3rd out, but the damage was done by Alan Craig. The pride of Mission Viejo and Temecula hits the 3-run home run, and it's 5-1 St. Louis. Curveball for a 3-run home run to take some heat off Kyle McClellan, and the Cardinals open it up to lead 5-1. And you could hear the roars from friends all the way to Temecula. Now the Dodgers trying to regroup. Jamie Carroll to start it off. Right. Cardinals in 6 games have now hit 14 home runs. In the 23 innings of this series, they have 15 extra base hits. So in the first 8 games, the Cardinals could manage 21 runs, and their record was 2-6. Pujols and company in the last 6 before tonight, 57 runs, and they were 5-1. So one team is on the rise, one team is really struggling. Cardinals trying to win their 4th in a row, and the Dodgers fighting not to lose 5 in a row. 2-2 to Jamie, hitting .362. Clayton Kershaw, one thing in his young career, he has not given up home run balls. That's a fly ball to shallow right. Here comes Craig. He is there. One away. In fact, the lack of the home run is one of the trademarks for Clayton Kershaw. Last year, statistically, Kershaw allowed a half a run in 9 innings. Last year, he did not allow a home run for 15 straight starts from the 4th of June to the 19th of August. And that was the longest homerless streak since Sid Fernandez in 1992. But up jumped the devil, the 3-run home run by Craig tonight. Comebacker. So quickly, 2 out here in the 5th inning. Casey Blake coming up. You know, Tuesday, the Dodgers commemorate the 30th anniversary of Fernando Mania with a Fernando Valenzuela fleece blanket presented by Time Warner Cable. Go to Dodgers.com/promotions or call 866-DODGERS. Hall of Famer Jaime Jarrín on the left and Fernando deep in thought in the middle. Pepe Iniguez on the right. That's a strike to Casey Blake. Hit by a pitch and struck out. Casey 0 for 1. 0-2. Kyle McClellan putting on a show here, throwing strikes out of Florissant, Missouri. Slow breaking ball. Two and two. McClellan, we were talking about the fact that he teaches and instructs players and coaches, high school players. He works with 20 and half-hour sessions over 2 weekdays. Takes about 8 weeks, and the kids really learn. And I'm sure that old line from The King and I, by your students you will learn if you're a teacher. Fastball popped up. Laird. And one hands it for the 3rd out. So we have 5 innings in the books, and the Cardinals lead the Dodgers 5-1. Angeles Dodgers played the San Francisco Giants for the first time, and the Giants at Seal Stadium in San Francisco walloped the Dodgers 8-0. But on this day in 1958, The Los Angeles Dodgers won their first game big time. They beat the Giants 11-1. They had home runs by Duke Snider and also third baseman Dick Gray. And Johnny Padres spun a gem, struck out 11, way back in '58. Let's go back to this one. Mike McDougal leading, and first pitch nails Green. Remember, his first pitch to Laird knocked him down. So McDougal fighting his control. Joe West and Rod Barajas coming out, and the Cardinal trainer makes sure that Tyler Green is okay. So McDougal, and let's see, is Joe given a warning? I think he was.
Pitcher number 46.
Tony La Russa is coming out not to talk to the umpire. He wants to check on Tyler Green. But Joe put one finger up, and I assume now that he has warned the teams. So McDougal almost hit Laird, struck him out. Then he nails Green right on the number. Tyler takes it just below the number. Well, Barajas was hit by a pitch in the fourth inning. And Joe West interprets that as playback and payback. So Green at first. Here's McClellan. 5-1 St. Louis in the sixth. And there goes the runner. Pitch inside, the throw on the bounce way too late. So the Cardinals have now stolen 8 of 11. Matt Kemp has stolen 7 of 8. So Green answers hit by pitch by stealing second base. You know what has to be maddening for the Dodgers? Before this inning, the Cardinals had gotten 9 leadoff men aboard in this series, and 8 of the 9 came around to score, and sure enough, Green leads off, hit by pitch, and is now in scoring position. Dodgers are looking bunt from McClellan. Good hitting pitcher, shows bunt, takes a strike. Jose Oquendo. Boy, he was a wonderful player for many, many years. Oquendo is a switch hitter. Played with the Cardinals from 86 to 95, 10 big years. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dodgers still look bunt. There it is, foul. So McClellan up there, 1 ball and 2 strikes. McClellan has not had to work too hard after the first inning. He had made 55 pitches going into the 5th inning, so he's been cruising along. 1-2 the count. Off the plate. McClellan in direct contrast to Clayton Kershaw. Kyle has made 67 pitches. Clayton made 111. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Trying to get Green over to third. Shows bunt and misses it to strike out. So McClellan strikes out a second time tonight. That would be 2 strikeouts for McDougal. And here's Ryan Theriot. Grounded to first, single to left, and then in the 4th inning was given the green light, 3-0, and doubled, almost hit a home run, hit the padding on top of the left field wall and came back into play. Theriot given the green light, and you say, wow, home run hitter. In his 50 some odd games with the Dodgers, he had 1. 96 games last year with the Cubs, he had 1. Now he's trying to pick up Tyler Green. Fastball, sliced foul. That will go well out of play. 0-1 to Ryan Theriot. Terrio's high in home runs, 7 playing at Wrigley Field. But he had a little muscle. He's hit as many as 30 doubles. So Tony let him go and he paid off. He was cut down trying to go to third. 5-1 St. Louis, top of the 6th. Pickoff play. They got him and the throw goes into center field. So here comes Green to score. And 1 minute he was going to be hung out to dry, and the next thing you know he scores. And that makes it 6-1 St. Louis. We'll see about an error. They'll no doubt give it to McDougal because they had him dead to rights, and the throw was behind Jamie Carroll. So the error by McDougal brings the run in. (6-1) in favor of the Cardinals. Scoreboard stubbornly will not put it up there yet, but it's in the bank. Oh, 0-2 in the dirt. 1-2 the count to Ryan Theriot. Slider hit off first, foul. Loney can't make a play. Still 1-2. 6 runs, 6 hits for the Cardinals. They've had a double by Theriot and a 3-run home run by Alan Craig. They also pick up an extra run on the hit batter and the throwing error by McDougal. The only Dodger run came on a ground ball. Ethier singled and eventually came around. That will do it for Ryan Theriot. He's caught looking. And we have a minute before Colby Rasmus comes up. Here's our trivia question for tonight. Albert Pujols, one of 5 players to win 3 or more National League MVP awards. Who are the others? Albert waiting on deck as Colby Rasmus checks in. 0-1. Colby flied to left, lost a hit on a good play by Gwynn, walked in the 3rd inning, and fouled out in the 5th. Hitting .383. Little ground ball to Loney. He'll take it to the bag, and that'll be that. However, 1 run on a hit batter, a stolen base, and a pickoff throwing error. And we're heading for the bottom of the 6th. 6-1 St. Louis. Colby Rasmus, and a sliding catch by Tony Gwynn took a base hit away from Colby. A standout defensive player, Tony Gwynn. Dodgers down by 5, trailing 6-1. Ethier, Kemp, and Uribe. Ethier fly to center, single to right, and is hit safely now in 13 straight. His longest hitting streak, 16. Andre, 1 home run, 99 home runs in his career, and whacks it to the gap. That's a base hit. Rasmus over to cut it off, and going for 2 is Ethier, and he's in there. So Andre Ethier doubles into the gap to open up matters here in the 6th inning. And now Kemp, Uribe, and Loney trying to get him around. For Andre Ethier, not only a base hit, it's his 2nd double of the young year. Ryan Theriot in a hurry to catch it and dive for the tag, and he came up empty. Matt Kemp, fly to center, single to left. Matt 1 for 2. Ball 1. Matt was on his way to steal his 8th base in the 4th inning. Only Rod Barajas at the plate was hit by the pitch, though Matt was sent back. Kenley Jansen gets up in the Dodger bullpen. Kenley worked an inning last night. 6-1 Cardinals, 6th inning. Foul ball, 1-1. Dodgers trying to get off the deck. For the Cardinals, they have scored 26 runs in the 3 games. Tony Gwynn 1 for 3 tonight, plus that catch in left field. But a very tough night for Don Mattingly. Kershaw struggling from the outset, and finally giving up the big home run. Fastball, 1-2. McClellan hits 90 on the gun. He has made only 73 pitches. One and 2 to Matt Kemp. Matt 6'3", 220. Run like the wind. Off speed, whack foul. A couple of years ago, it was 2008. Matt Kemp had 38 stolen bases and 35 doubles. 1-2. Slice fly ball to right field. Waiting for it there is Alan Craig. Tagging is Ethier, and he'll cruise over to third. 1 away. So Ethier at third with 1 out, and Uribe trying to pick him up. Juan Uribe struck out with 2 on in the 1st inning. Fly deep to center in the 4th. Dodgers started the game 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Ethier's long fly ball put 1st and 3rd with 1 out, but the Dodgers could not get the run home. And Uribe pops it up. It will be the 2nd baseman, Tyler Green. Whoop. Almost went behind him. So Uribe has had a really tough night. 1st and 2nd, he failed to advance a runner. 1st and 2nd in the 4th inning, failed to advance a runner. And here in the 6th inning with a runner at 3rd, he just can't get the ball out of the infield. So 2 down, and here's James Loney. Fly to center, grounded to first. 0 for 2. Now McClellan wants to talk to Gerald Laird. Timeout. So the Dodgers as a team came into this game hitting 178 with runners in scoring position. And they have pretty much been stopped by their own inability. But at the same time, you have to give Kyle McClellan a bow from the waist. Off speed, ball one, 1-0. In the series, the Dodgers are 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. 5 for 27 in the series. That would be a 185 batting average. So they've actually come up 7 percentage points. A little dribble, and McClellan will tag him out, and that's that. Another frustrating moment for Dodger hitters. So they lead Ethier at third base. Not to mention what it's doing to the insides of Don Mattingly, and it's 6-1 St. Louis. Take the field defensively against the Cardinals. St. Louis leading 6-1. The third Dodger pitcher of the night, that would be Kenley Jansen, the kid from Curacao, picking up the pieces. For Jansen, he appeared in last night's game. He's only been in a half a dozen games, but a high earned run average, a little more than 7. Last night, he came in the 5th inning and gave up a home run to Albert Pujols. And who do you think he's going to face here in the 7th? Mr. Jansen, Mr. Pujols. Albert struck out twice and singled. Strike, 0-1. Pujols hitting .246. 4 home runs, 10 runs batted in. Pujols in his first 10 years had 1,230 RBIs. That put him in the top 5 with the greatest name the game has ever known. Lou Gehrig, number 1. Al Simmons, number 2. Joe DiMaggio, number 3. Ted Williams, number 4, and Albert Pujols, number 5. And again, to see what he's accomplished in 10 years, truly remarkable. This time a high foul ball. Let's see. Barajas and Loney, no play. So that'll give us a chance to tell you. Through his first 10 years, Albert Pujols had more home runs than Henry Aaron did, more RBIs than Stan Musial did, a higher batting average than Tony Gwynn had, and scored more runs than the record holder Rickey Henderson did. So you can imagine he's going free agent this year. What will the market have for him? And he slices one. Going back is Ethier. We mentioned earlier, even though Tulowitzki has a $151 million contract,
Left fielder, Matt Holliday.
Adrian Gonzalez just signed $154. What will happen with Albert? I'm sure his agent is thinking that Ryan Howard gets $25 million a year for 5 years, but Pujols stands taller and bigger than Ryan Howard. And of course, all of St. Louis holding its collective breath. Will they lose Albert Pujols, which would be a lot more serious than if they lost the arch? Line to right field. Nice catch. Matt Holliday hit it right on the screws, but Ethier was right there. So the two big guns for the Birds fly to right, and the batter now, David Freese, who has walked, scoring fly ball, and fly to left. David 0 for 1, hitting .364. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of this seventh, it'll be Rod Barajas, then a hitter for Jansen, and then Jamie Carroll. Dodgers have Xavier Paul, Ivan De Jesus, A.J. Ellis, and Marcus Thames available to pinch hit. 1-1 to Freese with Craig on deck. That's a strike. 1-2. He has that big inside chest protector on. We're talking about the plate umpire Joe West. But Joe has lost a lot of weight. Something like 30 pounds from when we saw him. He's really in good shape. And down goes Freese. Down go the Birds. And we're heading to the bottom of the seventh inning, 6-1 St. Louis. The crowd ready to sing God Bless America, and inning. It'll be Rod Barajas singled and hit by a pitch. Then there'll be a hitter for Jansen, followed by Jamie Carroll. Foul ball down the line. The Dodgers made a move today. Hung-Chi Kuo has been bothered with a sore back, and they put the valuable left-hander on the DL, and they brought up Ramon Troncoso. And Troncoso throwing in the bullpen. High fly ball into deep left center. Rasmus at the wall to make the catch. The Barajas just misses hitting one out. One away. Ivan De Jesus will now come off the bench to bat for Kenley Jansen.
Your attention, please, for the Dodgers. Batting for Jansen, number 13, Ivan De Jesus.
So De Jesus will check in. Ivan's progress slowed in 2009 when he broke his leg at Camelback Ranch. Ivan's father played for 15 years in the big leagues. Ball one. In 1999, Houston had a single-A club in Michigan. He was the bat boy and his father was the hitting coach. And on that team, Tim Redding and Aaron Miles. And the years go by and the bat boy becomes a big leaguer and he's a teammate of Aaron Miles. Ivan De Jesus Jr. from Guaynabo, Puerto Rico. 5'11", 190, and he'll be 24 the 1st of May. 2-1. We told you that the Dodgers hadn't seen much of McClellan because he was basically a relief pitcher. But this year they're making him a starter. There's a one-hopper off the glove of Terrio. That thing was spanked. So for De Jesus, a single. That will be his first hit of the year and the first hit of his young career. So they'll get the ball, toss it, and he'll be in his locker. Mitch Poole will do some wonderful things, and it will be a treasure for Ivan for the rest of his life. We were talking about McClellan. He had made 202 consecutive relief appearances before he became a starter this year. And when he started the year, McClellan had 3 6-inning outings, and he allowed 4 earned runs in 18 innings, and he's allowed just 1 tonight. 1 ball and no strikes. De Jesus at first. Jamie Carroll batting 9th in a double switch, fly to right field in the 5th inning. De Jesus in the minors stole as many as 16. You certainly don't expect him to do much running late in the game with his team down by 5. 1 ball, no strikes. Fastball grounded, foul ball, no play. Nice play, however, by David Freese, but no play. Tim Wallach, good-natured Tim, over to pat him on the back. Of course, Wallach knows all about playing third. Great effort. So Jamie Carroll comes back, 1 out, 1 on. 6 runs, 6 hits for the Cardinals, 1 run, 6 hits for the Dodgers. The big blow. Clayton Kershaw going to the mound in the 5th inning, laboring all night, and gave up the 3-run home run, and that's really the difference, although the Cardinals have added to that. 1-1 to Jamie. Ball 2. Tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. Big Chris Carpenter at 6'6". 0-2 this year. Had his lunch stolen last time out, which will make him even tougher tomorrow, I'm sure. Chris is 6-0 against the Dodgers in 8 starts. And Carpenter, one of 3 pitchers of the 4 starters, the exception Kyle Loesch. Chris also had the Tommy John surgery. That's hit to center. Rasmus was shallow. He has to go back to flag it. And holding on DeJesus. Remember the trivia question? We were talking about Albert Pujols, the fact he's one of 5 to win 3 or more National League MVP awards. Who are the others? Roy Campanella, Stan Musial, Mike Schmidt, and Barry Bonds. So with 2 out, here's Tony Gwynn, single to right, tried to bunt his way aboard and was thrown out and hit back to the box. Strike. Tony hitting .294, 1 run batted in. One ball and 1 strike. Two out. DeJesus at first. Cardinals scored 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, 3 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th. The only Dodger run came in the 4th. So you have the Cardinals, who scored 9, 11, and 6 for 26. For the Dodgers, scored 5 and 2 and 1, 8. So the total 26-8. Down in the Cardinal bullpen, Jason Mott and Trevor Miller. Gwynn holds up, but it's going to cost a strike. 2-2. Casey Blake waiting on deck. Three and 2. 93 pitches made by Kyle McClellan here in the 7th inning. Dave Duncan on the right, pitching coach, and of course Tony La Russa on the left. 3 and 2. There goes DeJesus, and there goes the ball into right center field. Moving to the track is Craig to make a nice catch. So Gwynn long out to right field. Dodgers leave DeJesus, and it's still 6-1. We have arrived in the 8th inning, 6-1 Cardinals. And the Dodgers bring in their fourth pitcher. We told you about Hung-Chi Kuo and the sore back going on the DL. Ramon Troncoso, who was certainly no stranger to these parts, and he has returned. Ramon, who first came to the Dodgers in 08, has been there 09 and 10, brief spots in Las Vegas and Albuquerque. Just recalled today, soft-spoken right-hander from the Dominican Republic. A little more than 2 years in the big leagues. 6'1", 209, right-handed all the way. Troncoso will pitch to Craig, Laird, and Green. Dodgers make a couple of changes. Not only do they bring in Troncoso, De Jesus, who appeared as a pinch hitter, stays in the game at second base. Juan Uribe, who started at short, moved to second, moves back to short. Xavier Paul is now in left field for Tony Gwynn. And Troncoso on the mound. Fouled away. 6 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Cardinals. 1 run, 6 hits, 1 error for the Dodgers. And Alan Craig, the boy from Mission Viejo and Temecula, had the big hit. The 3-run home run in the 5th inning. He was the last batter that Kershaw faced. And it looked like Caton with a curveball, and Craig just cleared the left field wall, but that's all he had to do. So 1-2 the count to Alan Craig. Fastball fouled away. Going back to 08, Troncoso was in 32 games. Then in 09, he was in 73 games, and last year 52 games. The big difference, he somehow lost his sinker. In 09, he had a dandy, an earned run average of 2.7. Whoops, he is greeted with a base hit. So Craig is 3 for 4. Single to left, 3-run home run, single to center. Dave McKay looking over to the dugout, then saying something to Alan Craig.
Catcher, Gerald Laird.
Gerald Laird, single to right, grounded to first, and struck out. Gerald hitting .235. Hitting back of him, Tyler Green, the second baseman. Keeping an eye on Alan Craig. Craig is 2 for 2 in stolen bases. 6-1 St. Louis, 8th inning. Troncoso goes, the pitch low, the throw on a bounce, not in time. So the Cardinals had not been running at all in their first 14 games, and they pick up a couple of steals tonight. Tyler Green stole a base. Now Craig steals a base. 1 ball and no strikes to Gerald Laird. One more tomorrow, the 4-game series. Chris Carpenter and Chad Billingsley, and then the Atlanta Braves. 1-0. The bunt is down, up along third, going foul. Troncoso keeps it foul. A lot of good players on the Braves, and of course especially the young outfielder Jason Hayward. So Atlanta will be here for 4 games. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's from the 18th through the 21st. Dodgers then will go out on the road to Chicago and Florida, and then come home and play San Diego and the Cubs. 1 ball, 1 strike. And the bunt is down. This time a fair bunt, a good bunt. The out recorded. And on the sacrifice, Craig goes to third. And they'll leave it up to Tyler Green.
Second baseman, Tyler Green.
So with Craig at third, 1 out. Tyler Green coming up. The Dodger infield is up. Outfielder John Jay, a left-hand hitter, is out on deck to bat for McClellan. So the Cardinals got a gift run in the 6th inning, a hit batter, a stolen base, and then a pickoff error. Now they're trying to work their way with a single, stolen base, sacrifice, and they leave it up to Green, hitting .273. Hard ground ball by the drawn-in infield, so you can't have it both ways. If the infield's back, that's a ground ball out. But the infield is up, and Green singles to drive in the run. And the Cardinals add 1 and lead 7-1. And John Jay will be coming up to bat for McClellan. So that was a thoroughly professional inning. Craig singled and stole second. Laird got down a good bunt to advance him to third. Dodgers play the infield up, and boom, base hit to left. So 7-1 as Troncoso is welcomed back. John Jay has played right field. He is a body in motion. We have never seen him play until this series. And he has all kinds of hitting keys. I mean, he will not stay still. He hit .300 for the Cardinals last year. So whatever he does, it's right. But boy, is there a lot of movement. You know, in baseball, they always talk about unnecessary moves as being a hitch. But if you can move and hit .300, then it's just your style. Look at those hands drop. Wow. 0-2. He's from Miami, went to the University of Miami, 2nd round pick by the Cardinals. He just turned 26 last year, his first year in the big leagues. But just watch those hands. Dropping them, wiggling them. Drops them again and hits a comebacker. They get 1 in the dirt. Nice pick by Loney for 2. So 1 run, 2 hits, nobody left, and at the end of 7.5, 7-1, St. Louis. 9-5, 11-2, and they have them pinned 7-1 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Throughout it all, throughout the lean times in 15 games, Andre Ethier and Matt Kemp have really stood out and more than carried the load. Ethier with a 13-game hitting streak, hitting .375 with a home run, 7 RBIs. Matt Kemp hitting .442, 7 stolen bases, 2 home runs, and 9 RBIs, and each man with a great on-base percentage. But 2 men can't do it all. And they come to the bottom of the 8th inning, trailing 7-1. Blake, Ethier, and Kemp coming up against Miguel Batista. Batista, 40 years old, is from Santo Domingo. He was originally signed by the Expos in a memorable year, not for him, but for the Dodgers, 1988. That's a strike, 1-1. Casey Blake hit by a pitch, struck out, and fouled out. One and 1. Little low ball too. Batista, you may remember because he's been around. Among other things, he's a pretty fair writer. He first came up to the Pirates in 1992. That's a strike, 2-2. And he's been with a lot of clubs. The Pirates, the Cubs, the Expos, the Royals, the Diamondbacks, the Blue Jays, Diamondbacks again, Mariners, Nationals, and St. Louis. 3-2 the count to Casey Blake, hitting .280. Inside for ball 4. So in the 8th inning, Blake leads off. Say, friends, take the Dodgers with you wherever you go this year. Subscribe to MLB.tv today. See every Dodger game live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices. Visit Dodgers.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. So Blake aboard, and here is Ethier. Foul back, and that really shook up Gerald Laird. 0-1, the life of the catcher. Boy, what a beating they take in the course of 1 year. And you wonder as the year goes along why they have their batting average go down. So he took a pretty good lick on that left shoulder. Gerald Laird. 0-1 to Andre, hitting .375. Fly to center, single to right, and double. 2 for 3. And a fly ball to left field coming over on the dead run is Holiday, unable to make the catch. By the time he picks it up, there are Dodgers at second and third. Matt does a lot of awfully good things out there in left field, but he really can't cover a lot of ground. But again, remember, it was just 2 weeks ago that he had an appendectomy. So he's running as best he can, but there's no speed whatsoever. And he plays that fly ball instead of a single into a double. So second and third, nobody out. And Matt Kemp coming up to try and get the Dodgers back in the game if possible. The paid attendance tonight, 31,614. 31,614. So here's Kemp with first base open and Juan Uribe on deck. Miguel Batista. Fastball fouled away. Batista, in his colorful background, is a published poet. That's right. He's also an aspiring crime novelist. Highly intelligent man. Kind of a deep thinker. 0-1. He wrote a book that was published in about 5 years ago called Through the Eyes of the Law, crime novel. Off the rubber. No balls and 1 strike. Little ground ball in the hole. The long throw by Theriot is too late. So Matt Kemp gets a leg hit on a ball hit to the hole. Scoring is Blake. And it's now 7-2 St. Louis. Freeze couldn't get it. Theriot tried to hurry it over there. Kemp running so well, beat it. With the ball hit ahead of him, Ethier stayed at second. So Blake brings it in, and for Kemp, 2 for 4 with a run batted in. So 2 on, nobody out, 7-2 Cardinals, and here is a very hungry hitter. And pops it up. Back at first, Pujols. Infield fly rule. And for Uribe, a really tough night. It's one thing to go 0 for 4, but he struck out with first and third in the first inning, flied out with runners at first and second in the fourth, popped up with a runner at second in the sixth, and pops up with runners at first and second in the eighth. So for Don Mattingly, it's a maddening moment as number 5 hitter really comes up empty. Now Loney, fly to center, grounded to first, hit back to the box. 7-2 St. Louis, bottom of the 8th. Ethier at second, Kemp at first, 1 out. Ball 1. Loney batting .161 with a home run, 6 runs batted in. And that's foul down the line, out of play, 1-1. Tomorrow afternoon, Chris Carpenter and Chad Billingsley. Final game of the 4-game series. Carpenter still here on the railing. Jaime Garcia, who won game 1, right behind him. One ball, 1 strike. 1-2. Clayton Kershaw hanging around, went 4 2/3 innings and gave up 5 runs and 6 hits and really labored. In 4 2/3 innings, he made 111 pitches. 1-2. Two and two. So Batista, a 40-year-old right-hander, 6'1", 195. He was 40 in February. 2-2. 3-2. Batista, over the years, his finest year as a starter. 4 years ago with Seattle, he won 16 games. At 40, he must have a rubber arm, as they say. And now Gerald Laird going out to talk to him for the moment. Tony La Russa using McClellan and Batista. Last night, Loesch, Miller, and Mott. Game before, Garcia, Boggs, Salas, and Franklin. 3-2 with 1 out. Runners hold, and it's whacked foul down the line. Looked like a slider in on the hands. Loney turned on it and just pulled it too much. So Ethier goes back to second. Kemp holding at first. With Batista, you get a good fastball, slider, curve, splitter, and change. That last pitch, a slider. Fastball, slice to left. Backtracking a little is Holiday, and the runners have to hold. So the Dodgers continue to flail away with runners in scoring position. Rod Barajas, single to center, hit by a pitch, fly to center. And now hold everything. Dave Duncan going out to talk to Batista. Dave Duncan has been with Tony La Russa, it seems like forever. He is their #1 pitching coach and is rated as #1 in the major leagues. And as you can imagine with #1, I think it's pretty safe to say he is also the highest priced pitching coach in all of baseball. But why not? He coached 5 teams. He's had 4 Hall of Famers, 4 Cy Youngs, an MVP, 10 strikeout kings, and 10 20-game winners. Dave Duncan. He's out of Dallas, Texas. So 2 out, 2 on, and here's Barajas. 7-2 Cardinals, each team with 8 hits. Cardinals had the big 3-run home run by Alan Craig. Jason Mott gets up in the Cardinal bullpen in case Batista can't get the out. And ball 1. Barajas, the 6th man to face Batista. 7 runs, 8 hits for the Cardinals. 2 runs, 8 hits for the Dodgers. Rod hitting .205. (2-0). Barajas looking for a ball that he can drive. He had a long out back in the 7th inning. Colby Rasmus caught it right up against the wall. Outfield deep, swung around to left. 2-0. Ground ball to third. Freese takes it to the bag, and that's that. So the Dodgers scramble for 1 and lead 2. And at the end of 8, Cardinals 7, Dodgers 2. Dodgers have been plagued by their inability to do anything with runners in scoring position. Tonight really hits the bottom of the barrel as far as frustration is concerned. For Don Mattingly, his team is 1 for 13 with runners in scoring position, and not to put the body at his doorstep, but certainly it jumps out at you. Juan Uribe had really had a rough night. In the ninth inning, James Loney, who is 0 for 4, had 2 opportunities to drive in runs. Uribe had opportunities every at-bat. So we get to the ninth, and for the Cardinals, top of the order. That means Ryan Theriot, Colby Rasmus, and then Albert Pujols. Theriot grounded to first, single to left and scored, doubled, drove in a run and was cut down in a rundown, and last time up, struck out. Ramon Troncoso facing Theriot. Ball 1. Theriot, Rasmus, and one last look tonight at Albert Pujols. He'll be back tomorrow. Chris Carpenter and Chad Billingsley at 1:05. That's a strike. 1-1. Tomorrow, right here on Prime Ticket. Two and 1. The Dodgers tonight with Clayton Kershaw, 4 2/3, gave up 5. Mike McDougald, 1 1/3, gave up 1. Ramon Troncoso pitched the 8th inning and gave up 1. Shot up the middle. So Theriot comes up with his 3rd hit. And the batter now, Colby Rasmus.
Infielder, Colby Rasmus.
So Theriot having a good night. Rasmus, who was 5 for 10 in the first 2 games, 0 for 3 tonight with a walk. Colby has an 8-game hitting streak on the line. Andre Ethier, with 2 doubles and a single, extended his streak to 13. Colby hitting .377. Albert Pujols on deck. That's a strike. On 1. That's in there at the knees. Troncoso going after him and pitching him down around the knees. Most left-hand hitters like that area. 0-2. Of course, that's the big thing. He had that big year in 09 because he had a good sinker. (0-2). And ground ball by the diving Loney into right field. Stopping at second is Theriot. And the Cardinals now come up with their 10th hit. Back-to-back singles. First and second, nobody out. And Albert Pujols coming up. The Cardinals had 19 hits last night. They've had 5 straight games where they've had 14 or more hits like last evening. Well, they have 10 hits so far tonight. Pujols struck out twice. That's news in itself. Then he singled to left in the 5th inning, flied to right in the 7th. Two on, nobody out. 7-2 St. Louis. Ball 1. Pujols, 31 years old. Hard ground ball base hit into left field. That's 3 straight hits. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's going to go right to Barajas, who got him going by. So Theriot out at the plate. He was out in a run down at third in the fourth inning, and a nice throw by Xavier Paul. And a good block. I love the way Barajas just stands there like there's no throw. Xavier got off a dandy. Barajas just stands him, and the last minute puts the block on, and Theriot tripped over his foot. Never could touch home plate. Good play by Xavier Paul. Right there. Got him. Tagged him going by. So 3 hits, but an out at the plate. First and second for Matt Holliday. Ball 1. So Pujols with 2 hits. Holliday on the outside looking in. Matt flied to right, lined out to right, and twice walked. Hitting .367. 7-11. Cardinals 7 runs, 11 hits. And ball 2. Holliday with David Freese on deck. Been a long night for Theriot. Twice caught on the base paths, but he's turned in quite a night with 2 singles and a double. 2-0. 3-0. Son Troncoso now 1 pitch away, and of course they allowed Theriot to swing 3-0 and he doubled. What are they going to do with Big Matt 3-0? Holliday, as he stands in, has a home run, 8 runs batted in. Takes one, 3-1. Well, certainly he's got the green light now. 3-1 to Matt Holliday. 2 on, 1 out, 9th inning, 7-2 St. Louis. They have led all the way. 1-0, 2-1, 5-1, 6-1, 7-1, 7-2. 3-1. Fastball shelled up the middle, base hit. So here comes Rasmus. Matt Kemp will throw towards the plate, cut off by Loney. That makes it 8-2. And for Troncoso, he has given up 5 hits in 1 1/3 inning. So Holliday, his first hit of the night. Pujols stops at second, and Colby Rasmus brought it in. Of course, you just had Ramon Troncoso arrive here today. You don't know how much sleep he had or anything. They just give you the ball and say, go out and pitch. So now, Cardinals have 8 runs on 12 hits with 1 out. Freese walked, had a scoring fly ball, flied to left and struck out. Pujols and Holliday are out there, and that's a strike. 1 away. The pitcher is due up next. That's in the dirt. So they'll go for a hitter for Miguel Batista and go into the bullpen. Daniel Descalzo, who played third base in the series, is out on deck. Descalzo played in the first game and was 1 for 3 with a scoring fly ball. 1-1 to David Freese. In the dirt. New ball put in play. 2-1 the count. So 8 runs, 12 hits, no errors for the Cardinals. 2 runs, 8 hits, 1 error for the Dodgers, and we are in the top of the 9th. Two and 1 to David. And that's fouled off to the right, out of play. 2-2. When the Dodgers come up in the 9th inning, it will be the bottom of the lineup, numbers 8 and 9. DeJesus and Jamie Carroll. Two and 2 to David Freese. Fastball punched down the line. So in comes Pujols. Jogging into third is Holiday. That makes it 9-2 Cardinals, and they have 13 hits. They also have 5 consecutive hits now against Ramon Troncoso. Here's the announcement on Danny Descalso. Big chopper down the line for a base hit. Rick Honeycutt out to talk to Troncoso. So he's allowed 7 hits and 3 runs in an inning and a third. The only out in this 9th inning was Terrio, who was thrown out at the plate by Xavier Paul. And it didn't look like Cardinals were going to make it. The fact that they had at least 14 hits in 5 straight games. But now, at the expense of Troncoso, with 2 hits in the last inning and a third, Tony's club has 13 hits to go with 9 runs. It also means they've scored 29 runs in 3 games against the Dodgers. Twice 9 and once 11. So here is the third baseman as a pinch hitter tonight, Daniel Descalso. Pops it in the air, foul. Barajas coming back, and the runners hold. That will be the second out. So the batter now will be Laird, the catcher. Gerald Laird singled to right, grounded to first, struck out, and sacrificed. So the big catcher is 1 for 3. Miguel Batista, while he was in there, gave up 1 run, 2 hits. 9-2 St. Louis in the 9th. And ball 1 to Laird. On deck, second baseman Tyler Green. So the Cardinals at feeding time, 9 runs and 13 hits. Big grin on the face of Albert Pujols. 1-1. The rivalry between the Dodgers and Cardinals have always been a great rivalry, and what made it really important, at the start of this series they were dead even. Since 1900, each team had beaten the other team 998 times. But now it's swinging into the Cardinals' favor. They've won 2 for 1,000, and unless the Dodgers can score at least 8 in the bottom of the 9th inning, the Cardinals will move out to 1,001 wins, and the Dodgers stuck on 998. Over those years, there were 16 ties. Fastball hit the straightaway center. It's playable. Matt Kemp is there. That's it. The third out in the 9th. Cardinals get 2, and we're heading to the bottom of the 9th inning. Cardinals 9, Dodgers 2. Losing 9-5, then coming back and losing 11-2, and now they're pinned to the mat 9-2 in the bottom of the ninth inning. Right-hander Eduardo Sanchez, who was just called up, he got here along with Noel Salas yesterday. Salas got in the game, and now here's Eduardo. He's from Maracay in Venezuela, 22 years old, and in his second career game. Started in Double-A last year, and here he is in the big league. Daniel Descalso, who batted for Batista, stays in the game at third base, so Sanchez would bat in David Freese's spot. So the Dodgers absolutely stunned over what has happened with the Cardinals. And after tomorrow, they dig in for the Atlanta Braves. And for Casey Blake and company, it has been a rough beginning to this homestand. 8-game stand, 4 with the Cardinals and 4 with the oncoming Atlanta Braves. And of course, for the Dodgers, on the heels of a cold, miserable road trip that saw them lose 5 out of 8 in the rain and cold, that overnight game they played in San Diego, leaving the ballpark at 1:45 in the morning, arriving home, getting to bed about 2:30. So it's been a rough patch, and the best they can do is play through it. So here's Ivan De Jesus at a pinch hit single in the 7th inning, and a strike, 0-1. Ivan with his first major league hit. It was a sinking line drive off the glove of Ryan Theriot. He backs away twice, and twice the ball picks the corner. Sanchez on the slim side, 5'11", maybe 170. 0-2. Maybe the most frustrating thing for Dodger hitters is the fact they've had ample opportunity to drive in runs. In fact, they've had 32 runners in scoring position in 3 games. But they're hitting 188. That's in direct contrast to the Cardinals as De Jesus strikes out. The Cardinals have had 41 men in scoring position, and they're hitting .415.
Left fielder number 3, Xavier Paul.
So with 1 away in the 9th inning, here's Jamie Carroll. 9 runs, 13 hits, and no errors for the Cardinals. 2 runs, 8 hits, and 1 error for the Dodgers. Xavier Paul, who made that good throw to the plate, now coming up. Marcus Thames comes out on deck. Ball 1. Xavier Paul hitting .300. Trying to get a chance to play. He's been in 6 games. He's had only 10 at-bats. 1-0. 1-1. Cardinals scored a run in the 3rd, a run in the 4th, 3 big runs in the 5th, another in the 6th, another in the 8th, 2 in the 9th. The Dodgers, murmurs of protest, a run in the 4th and a run in the 8th. 2-1. Sanchez and Salas were called up. 2 of the younger pitchers were sent back with physical ailments. That misses. Whoop. Make it a strike. 2-2 to count. Another reminder, Chris Carpenter and Chad Billingsley tomorrow at 1:05. 2-2. And down goes Xavier Paul. So DeJesus and Paul strike out. 2 out in the 9th inning. And Marcus Thames coming up. Marcus with a sensitive hamstring, but he's coming up to hit.
Attention, pinch hitting for the Dodgers, number 33, Marcus Thames.
Chad Billingsley pitching tomorrow is 1-3 against the Cardinals. Carpenter's 6-0 in his career. So 2 down, 9th inning. Turns him around. Ball 1. Thames had that pinch hit home run up in San Francisco. Marcus hitting .222. On deck, Casey Blake. And that's a fly ball, shallow right field. Jay will have to play it on a bounce. So Thames gets himself a fly ball single with 2 out in the 9th inning. And the batter will be Casey Blake. Better the fly ball that drops in than the line drive at somebody. That's for darn sure. Now Marcus, just the other night, Don Mattingly said he could bat, but he really couldn't run. But obviously he's feeling a lot better, and he's at first base. Blake hit by a pitch, struck out, fouled out, walked, and scored a run. In there, 0-1. Casey hitting .280, looking for his first home run of the year. And there goes Thames jogging to second base. Defensive indifference, so no stolen base. Now the strike 2 pitch to Casey Blake. Ball 1. On deck, looking for one more shot, Andre Ethier. Andre flied to center in his first at bat, but since then singled in the 4th, doubled in the 6th, doubled in the 8th. Though he's hitting 13 straight. 1-2 to Casey Blake. Foul back. One and two coming up. Breaking ball, and that'll do it. The Casey strikes out for the second time. Dodgers leave a runner at second. The totals 9 runs, 13 hits, no errors for the Cardinals. For the Dodgers, 2 runs, 9 hits, and 1 error. The winner, Kyle McClellan. The loser, Clayton Kershaw. The Cardinals have now beaten the Dodgers 3 straight. They have a 4-game winning streak, and the Dodgers, taking a tumble tonight, have now lost 5 in a row. Stay tuned for Dodgers Live. It's coming up next. Good night, everybody.